Assalamualaikum, greetings, viewers and subscribers. Pleasure meeting you again. Today we're going to do something very important reviews. Number one, we're going to look at the probability of Israel and USA attacking Iran. Next, we will talk about the characteristics of war. That will lead into the timing aspect of it. So that is going to be the one area we're going to be talking about. The second area we'll be talking about is the war started? Be the one area we're going to be talking. Okay. Has the war started for the containment of China? And we're going to look at that, define and characterize what containment means and how China is countering it with its own strategy. And usme basically it is Pakistan. And I repeat, Pakistan is central to that. Will Pakistan come under threat? Yes. We will discuss also that. Will it be India? Yes. We will discuss in that exactly the time frame and timing. We will discuss what their Jyotish are saying. We will also discuss what our own assessments are. So before we go any further, let's get into what I call I would like you all to basically, now we'll get into the issue of Israel and America if and when they're going to attack. Now, for that, we need to get back into the aspect that where the war ended. The war ended around time frame after about 10, 12 days of fighting. It ended with Israel basically exhausting its 20,000 interceptors and not a very good record of interception, probably 90%, but 10% of the Iranian missiles got through. Iranians started with about 3,000 ballistic missiles and thousands of drones. They ended up firing about 1,000 and they lost about 500. So at the end of the ceasefire, Iran had about 1,500 missiles. Now let's talk about what both sides are probably doing, planning. The Israelis were trying to get more interceptors so the next time they have to come back at it, they don't have to look for a ceasefire. The Iranians on their part want to increase their score against the Israelis on penetration rate. Now, Iranians don't have a manufacturing huge capacity. Whatever they do is this imported. So basically, that is going to be, has been dented quite a bit. Now, the sanctions, snapback sanctions are on. People can't trade with Iran. They can't buy or sell anything missile-related, defense-related, armament-related. They can't sell anything to Iran. And this is by the United Nations. So fundamentally, at this stage, Iran is on its own in terms of manufacturing capacity. Israel is not. Israel is backed by Americans' manufacturing capacity, and America is 16% of the global manufacturing capacity. Now that brings us to the point of where it ended was Iran had 400 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium. Now, after that, they declared they enriched another 50 kilograms. Then they said, we don't know where that is. Then the Israelis said, we know where that is. And if necessary, we can take action. So that's where they are at. Then the Europeans wanted the Iran to come to the table and negotiate. And they were saying, number one, inspectors, no enrichment, talk directly to the America, no more missile program. Well, they were completely take away all that capability from Iran. Iran basically said no way, and Khamenei said no way. Okay, so basically they're at an impasse. Then the sanctions went in. So now Iran is on its own in terms of manufacturing capacity. Now let's go back to what the missile interception rate is. The Patriot missiles, which Ukraine was using, had a good interception rate of 69%. But recently, with the new improvements by the Russians, their interception is 3%. That means Russians fire 100 missiles, 97 get through, only 3 get intercepted. So Ukraine is going through a hell of a hammering. Though when you go on normal Western media, yay, or they've done great. But fundamentally, Ukraine is getting clouded. Now, here was a very interesting point. Israel hands over Patriot missile batteries, maybe one, maybe two, I don't know exactly. They didn't say, to Ukraine. Now, this is odd. When Israel is ready to come for Iran, why did they do this? Apparently, they might have gotten more thought from the Americans. And probably they have now more smart, intelligent interceptors. So they didn't feel the need for it. Now, that was significant. So that means as soon as Israel wants to move on Iran, they will. Okay. It gives me an indication they are ready for the rest of the 1,500 missiles, which the Iranians have. Now, the Iranians, when the snapback sanctions came in, they had a parliamentary session. Parliamentary session was saying what we're going to do next. And among them was whether they're going to close the Straits of Hormuz, through which almost 30 to 40% of the global oil passes through. Very serious thing. Now, at the same time, Donald Trump has said 2 weeks ago, about exactly 13 days ago, that on October 6th, he will decide what to do with Iran. Now, my own assessment is Israel and America are going to attack Iran. And this time it won't be a week-to-week war. I think it's going to carry on for about over a month, month and a half, maybe 2. More on the scale that they're going to devastate every capacity of Iran to resist. That is going to cause a lot of issues. And that's why I'm going to basically move a little back, and I'm going to bring something else to the forefront, which is I'm trying to bring the Iranian map. Okay. Now, Iran, as you look at it, we're trying to assess and give you an idea about. Iran is 90 million people, however, and only 50 million are Persian speaking. So as you can see here, all those areas like dark green and yellow and purple and this colored stuff here, this is basically non-Persian speaking. So as Iran gets their defense forces and their infrastructure and the government gets hammered, you're going to see somewhat what the West is calling balkanization of Iran. Okay. Now at this stage, I'm going to bring in what we call the Now, what are we talking about here? This is the Gulf of Hormuz. If Iran tries to close this off, it's going to cut off oil. Now, the second one is characteristic of war. War between Israel and Iran is going to be an air war. This is also going to be helped by American B-2 bombers in the Diego Garcia. Okay, British Indian Territory, they call it. They don't even call it on Google Diego Garcia. Beautiful islands, but it's no human beings are there, just American bases and the B-2 bombers. So that's what's going to be, they're going to be bombing the hell out of this place, the Iranians. And the Iranians are going to they're going to probably try and shut down the Straits of Hormuz. Once they do, that is going to affect oil coming in towards China, they can't tolerate that. Stop any oil or LNG coming to Pakistan, stop it. It will be all over the world. All the Saudi oil and other ones will be also stopped. So not very happy Arabs either. However, this will basically alienate most of the world, and there'll be a great pressure of the surrounding countries to go in and open up the Straits of Hormuz. So that we have talked about a little bit on this one. Okay. The next thing which we're going to talk about is good old, are we going to have, what do you call, the containment of China? Has that war started? Okay. And what we're going to see here is China's war, the war on China, the opening shots are there now. Now let me describe it to you. China's on the coastline, basically, they have a first ring of islands, which is Philippines going up to the first island chain and then going all the way to Japan. And basically, this is what we call Taiwan. The second island chain is basically the backstop by Guam. And the Chinese are going to be pressing this. Now, one of the things to remember in this one is the Malacca Straits. This is critical to understand. The theory on this one in America is a thalassocratic strategy. That is power. These were done by two individuals, Alfred Mahan and Nicholas Spykman. What they said, a country like America, if they control the seas and the coastlines of Eurasia, which is Asia and Europe, you can prevent any competitor to push out towards America. And that is exactly what the Chinese want to break out from. Okay, now let's talk about Malacca Straits. It's the most critical maritime trade route in the world. Almost between Malaysia Peninsula, Singapore, and Indonesia. It narrows to about 2.8 kilometers at the nearest point about here. And it's the tightest. Each year, about 60,000 ships pass, nearly a quarter of the global maritime trade. And in 2023, it alone handled 24 million barrels per day of crude oil and liquefied natural gas, and much of it bound for China. China is the world's largest energy importer. Okay. This makes Malacca Straits indispensable to world trade and also makes China dangerously vulnerable. China brings in from here about 73% of crude oil and 40% of its LNG through the single corridor. Sheer concentration just opens up the whole idea of a blockade, and it is surrounded by American allies, so they can blockade this one. However, the heart of this strategy, what China has, is they're going to bypass all that and go directly through Pakistan. This is called CPAC. Now let me say this again. CPAC corridor is the Chinese backstop to this whole strategy. Okay? And it is critical. China at no stage can give up on Pakistan. And the way Pakistan is facing off with India, they cannot give up on China. So you will see a lot of videos demeaning Pakistan and demeaning China, saying China won't supply weapons, or Pakistan has decided to abandon USA and China, gone with America, or they've offered them the Pasni port and base. Americans already have that base for intelligence reasons. They use E3 problems, and they're assisting Pakistan in the war of terror against Afghanistan. And that's why one of the things we've been very effective in hitting them pretty well. China does not have a problem with American having adjacent bases, and vice versa. Already in Djibouti, down here, uh, Americans and Chinese have got bases side by side, separated by a few 10 kilometers. So Pasni and Gwadar are close. We can see that. Pasni is right here, Gwadar is right here. So we are offering this base, good. And that's what's coming. Now, Pasni basically will be used by Americans to monitor basically this area, though they can see uh, the Iranians trying to hammer Bahrain and Dubai and the rest of the areas. Now, let's get back to the area in this way. Now, Indians' propaganda is very intense because he said this or something like that. And by the way, there's a Chinese-looking girl saying, "Oh, China has stopped all things to Pakistan." That's totally false. I think if at all, the race is on to get J-35s to Pakistan before the war breakout with India starts. India is making a lot of noises right now to basically attack Pakistan. Okay, and at this stage, I'd like to stop and say, if you like what we are doing, and please share it and subscribe it and press the bell icon. Now we'll move back to the other portion of India has been, since that last fight we had with the Indians, one thing we showed was air dominance. Due to our air superiority, we shot down a lot, and the Indian Air Force went into a 2 days they were grounded. Now, this also now has great meaning for the Israelis. The Israelis basically want to know what that is because this basically exposes them to the Pakistani kill chain. The whole idea of success of this one was very long-range Chinese missiles backed up by the kill chain. And the Israelis must be working with Indians trying to find a counter to that. And I think as soon as the Indians get that and the Israelis are sure of it, I think they're going to come back for Sindoor Part 2. And we have to get ready for that too. Indian Jyotish are saying that this is going to happen in October. Some of them saying no later than December. And I would say right now, we have to get our, I stick by a projection that 40 J-35s are on order, and after the Saudi Defense Pact, they have been up to 80. I think we'll start getting them around the beginning of the year, once the Chinese have 60 of them onto their aircraft carriers. So there's going to be a window where we'll be kind of a little vulnerable, but let's see how that goes. Now, Indians, when they attacked us last time, they are successful in terms of the BrahMos missiles. And they got through our defenses, the HQ-9. The solution to that one is the Chinese HQ-19, which is more advanced than the American THAAD. And the other one is India has been rattling the nuclear. I mean, they've been saying, we are going to erase Pakistan from the map. And our army also said, you will be erased too, usually. Now, there's one thing here which is coming pretty interesting. Chinese have another ballistic anti-ballistic missile system, which can take out low orbit satellites as well as like Agni, just taken off, they can take them out. It's called the HQ-29. Now that's good. Let's hope if they get deployed or not in Pakistan. But I'm hoping that they will be. Now, there's one other thing Chinese have come up with. It's called the Golden Dome. Golden Dome, fundamentally, is a global planet-wide defense shield where it can detect any launch of a missile from any place in the world, undersea or on land or space. and it can project who's launched it and where it's going, to which country. And at the same time, it can tell whether it has a nuclear or non-nuclear warhead. And I'm sure China will share this with us. If we have an HQ-19 and the H-29, we'll be more than 99% of the Indian missiles we'll intercept them. Now, make no bones, the Indians are going to come. They're going to come with a vengeance. They have been humiliated. They want to redeem themselves. So we're basically entering very, very dangerous territory. And I would say we should get ready for it. Now, at this stage, I will say, please restart once a day your mobile phones so you get rid of any malware which is coming from any area. Saying that, I want to bring to the stage our host, Sharbano, so she can ask the difficult questions and make me squirm. Thank you. Sharbano, all yours.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
So that was such a detailed and insightful explanation about the current geopolitical scenarios. All right. So coming toward okay, so coming towards Iran and U.S. nuclear diplomacy.
Okay, well,
Tells us about
yeah.
Iran's internal power, balance between hardliners and pragmatists.
I think Americans will make a lot of effort to go after the hardliners. And hopefully they are thinking that that will weaken the hardliners as well as the, what do you call, the IRGC, the other guards. And that will also help in terms of what is called balkanization of Iran. So they're going to be hoping that they can do this and very quickly also. Since I lost our host, I need to go on there and look at what the questions Sharbano had for us. Okay. Her other question was, what exactly are the risks that President Lee sees in US demands, which is South Korea? And why would a $350 billion pose a systematic threat to Korea? And how might Seoul reconcile security alliances with Washington while avoiding economic over-independence or vulnerability? Here's something to monitor and understand is that was being done by the Koreans, but what happened was the American immigration and customs came over there, and any Korean they found there, they just trussed them up, pointed guns at them, and then humiliatingly kicked out over 300 of these Koreans back to their country. So there's not much, love lost for the Americans here. And South Korea is not interested in doing any deal of $350 billion. And they're not, I think it at serious crossroads. However, there's going to be a South Asian summit at the end of October in South Korea. And that should be interesting because President Xi is also going to be there. And let's see how that thing turns out between Trump, Xi, and Park, the president of South Korea. Yours, Sharbano.
All right. So we were talking about Iran and US. In a scenario where Iran doubled down on nuclear enrichment, how far are US or Israeli military options viable or acceptable?
I don't think they're going to look for any acceptability. US and Israel for it. They cannot allow Iran to move forward and have more than 6 to 8 bombs. They want to take that one out also from them. So there is no tolerance for that. There's no tolerance of that from the Europeans. Even Russians have said no enrichment. No country in the
All
world
right.
wants Iran to enrich and have
Mm-hmm.
bombs. The only country which wants it is the Iranian ayatollahs and themselves. Anyway, answer the question.
All right. Oh, sure. You were talking about China's strategic diversification and the Strait of Malacca. So, how critical is the Strait of Malacca in China's energy and trade security calculus?
Extremely. If the Straits of Malacca is closed or the Straits of Hormuz is closed, China runs out
Mm-hmm.
of for their manufacturing completely. Okay. Now let me say,
Mm-hmm. All right.
well, okay, they run out of it, the factories go down, but let me say something else to you. Straits of Hormuz closed
Sure.
down. 2 weeks later, you're not going to be able to shut the car up. There will be no debuts
Exactly.
running. There will be
All
no
right.
cars running. So all the guys
Exactly.
were shouting this and that and all the rest of the good stuff. And very soon the public is going to say, what are you guys doing? We want our oil and gas restored. The poor man using his LPG to cook will not have it.
Definitely.
So, I mean, you can sit around and in drawing rooms and talk about it, but the effect of that is going to be very bad in for us even. For India, equally bad.
Mm,
One thing is certain, if that is closed, India
exactly.
will run out of oil pretty quickly, faster than we would. So that's the one part.
Mhm.
Anyway, it's up to you.
All right.
Next.
Uh, Sure. We also discussed about Pakistan's geopolitical balancing. So, could the Pasni port become a geopolitical flashpoint in South Asia, especially given its proximity to Iran and Afghanistan?
Just it'll be a flashpoint with a few rejected politicians. Aside from that, no. Both
Mm,
US and China have had adjustment bases. Djibouti, they both have on the other side of the Arabian Peninsula, they both have bases right next to each other, about 10, 15
mhm.
kilometers separated. Here it's okay. Pasni is a base which Americans are providing us intelligence about the Afghan Taliban. And here's something I like to mention. Trump said, give me Bagram Air Base or bad things will happen. Most of us are concentrating on Bagram Air Base. Americans want it. No. What he really was saying is bad things are going to happen to you. So you may want to look at what bad things mean. The Afghani foreign minister Mattaki, is in India today.
Okay. Mm,
Do I need to repeat that? No. And
all right.
one of our
Got it.
ministers said, if you understand the language of force, we will then talk bullets. So you know where this
Mm.
is going.
Yeah, we talked about it. So, how could this move affect Pakistan's traditional alignment with China?
Nothing. I think it's basically alignment with America reinforced and China reinforced. But the kicker is if India comes for us full scale and they're somewhat successful, and
Hmm.
if not that successful, Americans will switch sides like they did the last time. West was sitting there, they attacked us. It was all, oh, we leave it to India. And then suddenly India got clobbered, hammered. They went on their knees and they had to get a ceasefire for India. So I would say you can bank on the support of the Chinese, but I don't think you should take Americans for granted.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask the last question that it's about conflict escalation and the US-China contest. Can you tell that what thresholds or miscalculations could trigger the escalation beyond the limits?
I think you raised a very good point. The Chinese already have outlined that. The Chinese have said
Mhm.
that there are three levels of escalation. Number one, they're going to use either
Mhm.
Taiwan or Philippines or both in the Ukraine model, where these guys fight Americans and they sit back and supply them arms. The Chinese won't for this. Already, Chinese have done this. They had an American and a British destroyers going through the Straits of Taiwan on freedom of
Mhm.
navigation. The Chinese no longer come there anymore. This time they came all the way and they locked and loaded their missiles just at the last minute. They moved away. If they had fired, there would have been two less warships in the Western Alliance. So Chinese are saying this: if you do this, we're going to blow your navy out of the water, whatever comes. So Chinese are not going to sit back and
Got it.
fight. They're going to take the war to them, especially as the island chain, as uh, the other one I'll go back to.
Oh,
अपना ये भी नहीं है दूसरा है. Yeah.
GG, I can see it. Mhm.
Oh, you can see this. So basically,
Yes, you can.
okay, the island chain of Borneo, sorry, Philippines, and Japan and Korea. So I think China will definitely go for Guam.
Mhm.
Generally, the third level is that both US and China will fight on a third country territory. That means not on their mainland, on the US mainland, and not on the Chinese mainland. So they may find a third country to fight it out over, which wouldn't be bad because Chinese already say, what Western dominance technology? The Pakistanis used our technology and clobbered India. We had to hold them back, avoiding overkill. And now they're going to fight us? No. Victor Gao is the main spokesman. So uh, we're going to, I would all encourage all of our members to go do YouTube search Victor Gao, Victorgao, and subscribe to
Mhm.
him. He's a very interesting character. He's very
Okay.
blunt. He was on Indian TV, and they asked him, "Oh, what is this about Pakistan getting closer to China?" He said, "Don't have any misconceptions. We will support China. We will support Pakistan all the time, every time, completely, all the way. So, what is your problem?" So, I would strongly
Definitely.
encourage you to
Mhm.
look at that. Anyway, anything else?
All right. So thanks for providing such a comprehensive elaboration to my questions. So all yours,
Thank you, Sherbano, and thank you, interviewers. Our reviewers. Please share
reviewers.
and, and subscribe and bell icon. And hope to meet you in
Definitely.
a few days. Thank you. Bye.